Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your man, the Grass Ninja. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, I want us to focus on the new Ten Tails variant of Sasuke, the Shinju, now known as Hidari, okay? Now, instead of talking about all of the potential jutsu, fighting style, how strong he is, the hierarchy of the Shinju, what I want us to focus on is sort of the end game of this arc with the Shinju, and how it may be possible for Hidari to defect from the group and end up aiding our allies in Konoha, possibly protecting Sarada, possibly going against his natural instincts to eat the Otsutsuki bros. But before we even jump into his defection and the consequences of that, why would Hidari defect from the other Shinju-Claw Grimes, and why am I thinking that? Okay, so first off, I want to get this out of the way, because obviously there's just like the narrative argument of like the story has to conclude in some way. They introduced 4 super powered beings, one of them looking like Ishiki, who nobody could handle a couple arcs ago, right? Now, obviously this arc is going to have to conclude possibly with the aid of the enemies, right? We might have an enemy turn to friend. Many stories have actually done this in the past. This is a classic story trope. In anime, we can think to other stories like Dragon Ball. There's Dragon Ball GT, where we had the 4-star dragon and Goku team up against Omega Shenron. There's Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, where we had the homunculus Greed, and he joins Edward Elric and crew. And then we get that awesome battle towards the end of the series with Ling Greed versus Wrath. And then if we go back to Naruto, Kishimoto's done this in the past before with characters like Itachi. So Itachi invaded the Akatsuki to be a double-sided spy, right? He's playing both sides with the Akatsuki. And then later in Death, as he's brought back in the reanimation army as an Edo Tensei, Edo Itachi breaks free of Kabuto's control and then aids the Shinobi Allied forces to take down the reanimation jutsu and cripple their forces, bro. So he even goes up against Sage Mode Kabuto. And most recently in Boruto, there's Ada and Damon turning their backs on Code, and now Konoha has had Damon and Ada, meaning the Senrigan and the Reflection Shinjutsu, at their disposal for the past 3 years of the Boruto story. So this is a classic story trope that Kishimoto has used in the past, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be used again, especially considering these circumstances here. Plus, there's also the connection between Hidari and Sasuke. So Sasuke may have some sort of influence over Hidari, okay? So Hidari is a Shinju-Claw Grime created when an ordinary Claw Grime devoured Sasuke's chakra, right? So Sasuke's chakra is a highly coveted thing. It's a commodity since Sasuke was gifted chakra directly from Hagoromo Otsutsuki, which not only granted Sasuke, his 6-tomo Rinnegan, but it also came with heightened 6 paths abilities and sensory capabilities, like being able to sense Naruto's chakra across Kaguya's various dimensions when they were battling Kaguya, right? It's not like he could see Naruto waging war against Kaguya. He could sense that Naruto was nearby and it was a dimensional barrier. He could feel where Naruto was. And then now, even without his Rinnegan in Boruto, he's able to sense Momoshiki's presence within Boruto, even after Omnipotence, which was one of the major factors for why he decided to stick with Boruto after Sarada told him to go protect him, right? He could tell Momoshiki was still anchored to Boruto. So, on top of his 6 paths abilities, Sasuke is also a reincarnation of Indra. So Sasuke also has Indra's chakra tethered to his soul, which adds to the potency of Otsutsuki chakra and powers Hidari may have possibly inherited. Lastly though, alright, here's the big thing. I feel like there may be some sort of tension building up between Hidari and Jura, who's placed himself as like the leader of the other Shinjus. So in the last chapter of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 5, we learned of the new emerging identities of most of the Shinju-Claw Grimes and how each of them have their own targets of interest, which was actually an idea brought up by Jura, which is the Shinju who bears slight connections to Ishiki, at least appearance-wise, right? And especially with his superiority, putting himself at the upper echelon of all of them. Now, it's in this moment of the chapter where Hidari begins speculating on what they are, right? He's like, what are we exactly? Now, oddly enough, when this happens, we get this exchange between Jura and Hidari. So Jura pauses, and he gives this side eye towards Hidari before telling him to focus on what's important, which is finding out his next target to devour. And this ends up being Sarada. But that means another question then arises from this revelation of Hidari picking Sarada, right? Why would he target Sarada? And by extension, what's the reason for any of the other Shinju-Claw Grimes having the targets that they do, right? So just to recap, Jura is going after Naruto, who we know is stuck in the Daikokuten. Then you have Matsuri, who's going after Konohamaru and possibly Team 10. Then we have Bug, the Shinju Bug. He wants to go after Ada, the Senrigan, right? And then we have Hidari, Sasuke's 10-tailed variant, who's going after Sarada. So, as far as I can tell, the Shinju are targeting people who share some sort of powerful bonds to their counterparts, based on the memories found within their counterparts' chakra. Okay, so Ada's explanation is that the Shinju are created by a claw grime devouring someone's chakra, and it's backed up by Matsuri feeling Team 10's grief as they discovered Moegi. So there seems to be a connection between the Shinju and their counterparts stuck in a tree, like an active connection, because as Moegi is discovered by Team 10, Matsuri is then able to feel the grief coming off of Konohamaru and Team 10. So there might be a connection through the actual host or counterpart stuck in a tree and the Shinju through the chakra and their memories. So the Shinju target people who share powerful bonds with their counterparts. And Sasuke's final words to Boruto, his final memories before getting eaten, were placed on Sarada and her well-being. So considering the foundation of chakra, right? Considering chakra being comprised of one's physical and mental energies, Hidari being born of Sasuke's chakra, having this focus on Sarada, makes a lot more sense. It means Sarada not only is possibly his target interest, but she might even be compatible with Hidari in some way, shape, or form, possibly for something like her eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, right? This is a 10 Tails variant based off of the Claw Grimes and Sasuke's chakra, now having 2 Rinnegan, which means Sasuke's chakra is imbued in the eyes of Hidari, and he has 2 eyes. This is important because there's a huge obstacle for Sarada getting her EMS since Sasuke only has 1 eye to spare. Now, if we jump back to the original question of the video, why would Hidari defect from the other Shinjus? I want us to go back to that moment where Jura gives Hidari that side eye. So this entire situation comes about when Jura makes his declaration to eat Naruto, right? Jura says, according to the official translations on Viz and Shonen Jump, he says that I don't even know why I feel this way myself. It's an instinctual desire. That's why it seems significant. Now he's talking about himself. This is why he thinks it's significant, because it's his instinctual desire. I'm thinking of devouring Uzumaki Naruto, right? And then all the 10-tailed Shinju-Claw Grimes, they react. They're like, he's not an Otsutsuki, why? Jura goes on to say, we are already a divine tree and are evolving differently than usual. So give in to your instincts, bend your ear to your inner voice, do so, and it should come to you, your personal target. So here's the thing, right? It's here where Jura says it's an instinctual desire. Not only is he talking about himself, right? His instinctual desires, but the manga panels focus their attention on Hidari And as Hidari does what Jura says, right, he bends his ear to his inner voice like how Jura had asked them to do. His instinctual desires aren't to eat someone, it's for clarification. He wants to know what they are. He says, what are we exactly? And it's in this moment that grasps Jura's attention, and it triggers that side eye, that stink face, right? So Jura seems to view his own instinctual desires to target Naruto as more significant. He says they are significant, but then he tells Hidari that his desires, his instinctual desires for understanding, to be pointless, saying it doesn't matter. This seems odd, especially with the final panel of them talking about this, focusing on Hidari again, but with the blacked out background, as something suspicious is going on in his head. This definitely creates some sort of friction surrounding these two characters, and we don't have much to go off of other than the subtext around this interaction. Now, if we reverse engineer the entire chapter and stuff, we know that the claw grimes are formed when they eat somebody, and they're based off of that person's chakra. This is coming from Ada and Matsuri, okay? So why would Hidari defect from the other Shinju? Well, based off of this tension building up between Jura and Hidari, there might be a battle for who's the true leader, who's truly in charge of this group of Shinju, right? Because it seems like a self-appointed leadership for Jura, like he knows more than the other claw grimes. And then once Hidari starts asking questions, they start bumping heads, and this friction is created between them. It also works narratively, as it's a classic story trope that Kishimoto has used in the past, and we've seen it work for Itachi, it happened with Ada, and it's happened in a bunch of other manga and media where we've had characters on the bad guys leave and join the good guys, and they're this new edgelord in the series. We've got Ling Greed from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. We've got the Chimera Ant arc, where we had those two ants turn on the king and they joined the hunters, right? And then we have Edo Itachi and Ada, like I was mentioning. Not to mention, Sasuke has a unique chakra, right? And this may have some sort of special influence over Hidari, okay? Especially the fact that chakra is made of your physical and mental energies, right? Sasuke's thoughts were focused on Sarada and keeping her safe towards the moment he got bit. So Sasuke's six paths powers, Indra's latent abilities, and his tethered soul towards Sasuke's chakra, plus the memories attached to Sasuke's chakra, right? With Hidari now targeting Sarada and leaning into his instinctual desires and his inner voice, he may evolve even further and lean more into that in order to protect Sarada as opposed to go after eating her. Maybe not everything is about devouring people. Maybe he'll be able to suppress some of his more brutal and animalistic and ten-tailed like instincts in order to discover who it is he truly is, which was one of his instinctual desires. He wants to know what he is, right? And he's basically a ten-tails variant of Sasuke. So let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below. Is it possible for Hidari to defect? Do you think that this interaction between Jura and Hidari is the beginning of the end of their companionship? They're no longer gonna be on the same side. Hidari will eventually defect from the rest of the Shinju in order to aid Konoha, right? It's happened before. Why not have it happen again, all right? Sasuke does have that unique chakra, has special influence, right? If this is Hidari's way out, I wouldn't be surprised, and it could work in Sarada's favor, especially if Hidari has to die at the end of the arc. He could pass on his eyes or his power to Sarada in order to upgrade her and give her that EMS, right? Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below. I've been your man, the Grass Ninja. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Really eager to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Have a nice day. Peace.